Hello viewers, Flash Motorsport here and welcome to Silverstone. Right now we're starting on a qualifying lap. I'm trying to get a better position to start the race. I know I can beat Teal Smoke. I'm pretty sure I can beat sub 1 minute. I'm trying to get a qualifying lap to end up starting at P1 and actually might win a race. So as we come down to the start finish line, we have a good run out from the last corner and we keep to our left hand side. As we cross over the line, we're looking to our left for the 200 board, down to 4th gear, about 100 miles per hour, 105 miles per hour, powering back on halfway through the corner and over to the outside curb. As we approach the second corner, halfway over the corner, braking down to 2nd gear, take it as tight as you can. As soon as you're over the line, powering back on and into 3rd. Gives you a great exit for this back straight with minimal wheel spin, and you can really make up a good bit of time down this back straight. We keep to our right hand side, we're looking out for the 200 board again and down to 3rd gear. Clip the inner curb and keep off the throttle because it does become tighter. As we approach this final corner here, down to 2nd gear, see the pink pads on the right. After the last pink pad, power on a little bit, rub onto the outside curb into 3rd gear, and then we cross the start and finish line. This time will give us a 59.525, and that is my best qualifying lap. So I am in P1. Kill me. You'll never guess what. In the last 30 seconds of the qualifying, Ipan Hero, who is next to me, managed to beat my time by 0.2 of a second. In the last 30 seconds, I thought I was going to start Podium, and he got me in the last 30 seconds. Oh dear. As we start the race off, they have a better exit out of the first corner than I do. They are a bit quicker in the straights. But as we come over the first curb, braking down to 2nd gear, take it nice and tight. I have a better turn in, but they have a better exit. So I decide to sneak up behind them, try and get into the toe, and try and break a bit of the gap behind me. With Spud Day 0.6 seconds behind and F1 Jamie very close to him, I'm hoping they battle so I can catch up in a bit of the slipstream of Ipan Hero. As you can see, I don't take this corner all that well. Now, in update 3, Forza changed the way aerodynamics work, where before you used to be able to have a bit of resistance and still have the downforce available to you. Now you're more sucked into them and have less downforce. I'm just getting used to that. I've only done a couple of races since they've done the update 3.0, and I haven't been that close to a player in front of me to notice the effects that I'm getting now. As we come past this first corner, 100 miles per hour into 4th gear, I'm catching up to Ipan Hero. I seem to be much quicker in the corners and they seem to be a little bit quicker on the straights. But as we come to our left, halfway over the curb, braking down to 2nd gear, my back comes around a little bit which catches me out, but we keep it straight and true and we come down this back straight here. I decide to tuck in as much as I can, try and get to the slipstream. So P3 is 1.4 seconds behind, so they got a good bit to catch up. Looking out for the 200 board, braking down to 3rd gear. Again, I get sucked into a little bit of slipstream, but it's not as effective as it was before. I'm having a bit better control over it. Down to 2nd gear, taking the inside curb. As you can see, they're understeering quite a lot and I am not, so I'll power on a bit earlier, but they still have a better run out of this turn than I do, so they obviously got a better acceleration setup than I have. As we enter the start finish line, we're going to jump to lap 4, and not much has changed. I'm still right behind Ipan Hero and we're really having a good battle between us. I'm catching up in places and you can see the understeering again quite a lot. My idea here is to keep the pressure on and hopefully they make a mistake, then I can swoop in and take that position. Let's come over the sausage here, down to 2nd gear, and I give him a little nudge. By accident, I get caught up in a bit of wash. I back out the corner, let them regain that position because it's not fair that I swoop in after I've bumped them. I could have got onto the power a bit earlier. I've given a bit too much of a gap, but I'm still 0.6 seconds behind them, which means I'm still in the tow. And the car behind P3 is about 0.7, 0.8, so they're catching up too, which is what I don't want. I don't want us fighting and trying to gain a position and then cars behind catching up, which to the eye, as you can see. As we approach the end of lap 4, we're going to go over the start and finish line. The cars behind are still 0.8 seconds and I'm 0.3 seconds from the car in front. Keep to our left hand side, looking out for the 200 board, and then we're going to brake down to 4th gear. Over the curb, and they're understanding a good bit, but I have a good run out right up behind them. 0.2 seconds behind, and I was trying to keep him in the toe, keep the pressure on. I decided to brake a little bit earlier here. This stops me from getting caught up in the draft behind him and take the inside line. Problem is I accelerate too early and cause a monumental amount of wheel spin, which in turn I don't gain a position. As we come down the back straight, I'm not as quick in the straight lines as Ipan Hero, so he manages to take the place and keep it. The issue we're having is because I can't overtake on the corners, the cars behind are catching up. You come through this corner here, Kiranu gives me a little nudge from behind and slides off track a little bit. I managed to take the line a bit tighter and have a better run out of the corner, but again they accelerate better than I do. As we come over the start and finish line, I look behind me and look to my left to see where everybody is, and he is a little bit quicker than me. I decide to hold my line and keep the inside. Ipan Hero takes it a little bit wide and not as fast as I did, so that is P1 gain for me. Now it's just a case of defending my position. I know I'm faster in the corners, but they're faster on the straights. So as we come down here, down second gear, take it tight. I don't power on as early as I should have, and this causes a bit of confusion to the vehicles behind. But we're coming down the back straight here. Now, there's not much of defense I can do here besides really forcing them to stay behind me. My idea here is keep the racing line and hope their understeer outplays them, and I could play the old switcheroo, which works to an extent, except for they break mid-corner, which killed my speed. As I have the outside line, I don't have the optimal line, but I'm hoping that I can power out earlier, seeing though I have less understeer. It works to an extent. We are neck and neck down to the start and finish line again for the 7th time, but this time around there is an issue. I have the outside line for the first corner. Ipan Hero backs out a little bit and I keep the power on, rubbing this outside curb, and like I say, they have the inside line. It's going to be quicker through that corner than I am. As we approach the second corners, I brake early, down the second gear and take the inside line. Much nicer, but I still have the issue with the wheel spin. As we come out the corner, we meet TTV Matix 86, who's in P21, and we're lapping. And Ipan Hero, again, is still quicker down the straight than I am. Coming down 200 board, braking down the second gear, I get a bit of wash and sucked in a little bit. Does not help my cornering, but second gear down into here and I'll go right up the inside, right very close as I can, and they're taking it as steady as they can. But again, I have a better exit off this corner, and now I have the inside line and I'm gonna dominate it. Coming down to start finish line, I'm still ahead, so I'm keeping them as wide as I can. Looking out for the 200 board, braking down to about 90 miles per hour, and Ipan Hero did back out the corner. Maybe backed out a little bit too much because F1 Jamie came in and took P2. I have a bit of breathing space now, so I'll brake down to second gear and Ipan Hero gets sent off the track. So no idea what happened there. I just saw a little nudge and then it flew off the track. But I'm 0.6 seconds ahead. Final lap, I just got to keep my position. My tyres are worn. I just got to take my time, be cautious and don't push it too hard. We'll take this corner here, third gear, onto the outside curb, down to second gear, keeping the inside line as tight as I can, not powering on too early, power on now, into third gear, reducing the wheel spin, and I come across the line in P1. First time I've ever come in first place. Overall, that was an absolutely brilliant race. Me and Ipan Hero had a hell of a good race. So they were faster in the straights and faster in the corners. Overall, we had a great battle between each other, and it was clean and it was nice, which is very rare. Funny enough, Ipan Hero messaged me after this race just to say thanks for the great race and it's a pleasure to dispute pole position with a driver like you, which is really nice to hear. Next race is at Watkins Glen. I qualified again, but I got P8 this time. My qualifying laps weren't the best, but we get a great start off the line, gaining 2 places by the first corner. As your first corner shenanigans are going to happen, where we all find our position in the road. We'll all get nudged around a little bit, but no harm, no foul, and no penalty. JG gets a better run out of the first corner than I do, and I keep to my left hand side knowing there's a car to my right, and the car to my right doesn't know there's a car to his left. So we have a bit of door banging going on. As we come down to the inner loop, I'm wondering if we're going to have the shenanigans you usually have in this corner here. If that's the case, then I might be able to gain a few places. a car's just gone off behind me. I brake early, down to 4th gear, wondering what this Peugeot is going to do. And they gave me more space than I expected, which is really nice of them. I was expecting to have my front end ripped clean off like it usually happens because I'm on the outside line of the first part of the corner. They are quicker than me through the outer loop, so I'm trying to catch up now with a bit of slipstream. That Peugeot is very good though. I've got to say, this MG and the Peugeot are on par, but the Peugeot does turn better than the MG. The Audi, on the other hand, does not turn as good as the MG and decides to knock me off the track a little bit. Again, lucky no penalty, and I don't think they got a penalty either. No, I don't see anything there. As we approach the start-finish line for lap 2, we are in P9, lost a few places, but Squealy gives Golden Domer a bit of a nudge off the track, and I decide I've got a bit of a better exit, I'm going up the inside. But Golden Domer doesn't like me being up the inside, or doesn't realise I'm there and gives me a nudge. Gives me more of a nudge and some more nudges. Now, whilst he's nudging, we are being slowed down because of the contact, which gives the MGs behind the opportunity to move over and take that position as well. So now we've lost position because he was overly friendly with me. You know, if we just want to hug, just ask. As we brake for the inner loop, Golden Domer goes into ghost mode, and the MG behind decides he's had enough of me for some reason. As we come on the inside line here, goes up the inside of me and just pushes me off the track. Now let me know in the comments if you think I was in the wrong or that MG was in the wrong. The way I see it is I was on the inside of that line, and that MG should have gone around the outside of me to overtake, not go on the inside of me, which would have put him on the grass and then ran me off the track. As we're coming up to the second to last corner, I keep the inside line. I don't want to lose any more positions than I've lost up to now. I keep to my left so I have a better run out of the next corner. Not realising the Honda backed out of the corner and gives me a much quicker exit to the start and finish line. As we approach the start and finish line, we're going to skip forward in time and head to our final lap. We have made one position, but there's an old saying of what goes around comes around, and it's coming around in this lap. The Peugeot's had enough of the MG and takes him out. The one that took me out. So thank you, Peugeot. Absolute star, mate. Well done. Our fate is sealed though. We're going to finish roughly around P10 position, providing I don't mess up any further. I try and keep in the draft of the Peugeot. Try and make up a bit of time, make a bit of space up, as well as the Audi behind me is all over me as well. Coming up to this corner here on the inner loop, looking out for the ambulance on the left hand side, braking down to 4th gear, over the curbs, fast as we can, and come out the other side. The tyres are starting to wear thin. Oh, there we go. Minor tyre wear on the near side front. Seeing the hut powering back on. Trying to gain a few tenths of a second, so I'm not so far down the pack. I look to the outside to try and force a position on the next corner. The issue is it doesn't play out as well as I thought it would have in my mind. I end up going off track and losing a position myself. Lesson learnt. Take the inside line on that one because the outside line is quite slippy. As we come to the end of the race, I clip the wall and I finish the race in P11. Overall, quite a good race. A little bit of dirty shenanigans, a great bit of karma, and we came P11. As we head over to Mugello, we did qualify, but I got a P10 out of it, so it wasn't the best of qualifying laps. But we don't have the best of starts either. Mountains of wheel spin, but we do gain a place out of it. Just coming down our first straight to the first corner, I keep on the inside, try to avoid the first corner shenanigans. Looking out for the 100 board, braking down the 3rd gear, taking it wide. Hopefully nobody gets pointed off track and in turn will take me off track. As we approach the next corner, I decide to keep the inside line but get pushed off track a little bit. Ain got a Scooby, gets really pushed off track, and there's nothing I could do there. I was on the inside and he was near enough 90-degree angle in front of me. So sorry Ain got a Scooby, I did try and straighten you out, but it just didn't plan out all that well. Let's approach the next corner, keep it in 3rd gear, and there's the shenanigans. 2 people off track, and I'm now in P8 as we settle behind this chrome golden Audi. Over the curb, 4th gear, 100 miles per hour, and then brake over the line, 3rd gear. As soon as you see the pit entrance, power back on, and the chrome golden Audi goes off track. As I am only 0.6 to 0.7 seconds behind Max Bonark, I decided to try and keep within the toe of them both, so I'm diving back and forth who's in front to try and keep within the toe. Looking out for the 100 board to the left hand side, braking down the 3rd gear, and rub the inner curb and power back on. I got a good bit of understeer, unusually. Wasn't surprised to carry that much understeer. But then I get a good bit of oversteer, so it's all fun and games, and lucky enough I've managed to keep it under control. Tyres are getting a bit hot from all the wheel spin I'm doing. I go off track just a little bit by a pixel, and I don't get a penalty. Thank golly for that. Coming down here, down to third gear, try and rub the curbs, over this curb here, over the sausage, and power on, and I gain another position. Fourth gear, over this curb, slide it onto the outside, and that was very close to not get a penalty. But I bend this corner, and Boba Fett Chicken gains the position back. I've got Edgy next to me in the chrome gold Audi, so I try and keep in behind Boba Fett Chicken, get the slipstream, and we become a nice big long train of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cars. Gets me a bit nervous. These don't usually become this friendly, so break at the 100 board, keep on the outside, and more shenanigans happen here. As we all straighten out, I am down to P9 and I have the Audi up behind me. Over the curb, try and give the Audi behind me some space. I don't want to be bumped off track either. Trying to keep my position, trying on this straight bit here, try and make up a bit of time through the slipstream. Down to third gear, over the curbs, to the right hand side, over the curb again. I try and make a move, but I then ultimately really back out. I'm not going to be able to gain that position. Over the curb here, fourth gear, going a bit slower than I expected, but lucky enough don't hit them. I get pushed onto the grass a little bit, so I don't have the best of exits as we approach the start and finish line. I tuck in behind the MG, try and get a bit of slipstream, ultimately try and not lose another position. Blade in the Gulf behind me is all over me. He's got a good bit of slipstream on me, and I'm actually losing place. I'm not sure what's going on there, but that MG is definitely quicker than me. Blade goes up the inside, so that's the position I've lost there as well. As you jump forward, you start lap 5, and there's a bit of shenanigans going on in front of us. I am hoping they fight a little bit more so I can swoop in and take a position, but I think everybody's starting to settle down again now. Maybe not, as the Audi gets punted off track, and I swoop in and take 2 positions, so I get P7 out of that. Now it's just a case of keeping this position. As we take our time over the curb, third gear, and over to the right hand side, over the curb as tight as we can, and powering on as early as possible, maximising the track width and gaining a good bit of time on the Blade 39 in front. Over the curbs again, both sides, and powering on, trying not to lose any more time than I've lost already, and I don't want the Boba Fett Chicken behind me to catch up. And this corner here is not my strongest point, so braking, third gear, hang it over, power back on as early as possible, and as you see I don't always have the best of exit there, so hopefully the slipstream is strongest at 0.4 from what I've been told. Keeping within that slipstream, Boba Fett Chicken 0.8 seconds, and he's still losing behind. As we start our final lap, we have gained a good bit of time on Boba Fett Chicken. He's 2 seconds behind us, and we've only lost a little bit of time from the cars in front. The tyres are getting a little bit worn out, which is slowing me down a good bit. I can only presume their tyres must be wearing out as well, but they're definitely holding it better than I am. I'm probably overdriving the car somewhat to try and catch up the time I've been losing. If you notice, a Blade 39 is a 1.4 second penalty, so as long as I keep within 1.4 seconds, I will also steal that position as well from them, which I'm hoping to do so. Coming down to the final 2 corners here, over the curb as much as we can. Brake in here, down to third gear. As soon as the pit entrance is there, powering back on and down the straight. By the looks of it, I'm within 1 second, so I should be finishing P7. Yep, P7. Happy days. Wait, no, P6. I got P6. Thank you for watching, and I shall see you all next time. Goodbye.